Alright guys, so we're gonna be talking about the whatchamacallit. We're gonna be talking about the game today. So we're gonna be talking about the tier list. I hope you guys enjoy. So it's gonna be a long-ish stream. The original stream didn't do so well, so because I was streaming the wrong game, but we'll get back on track. Alright. I at least want Twitch chat to be somewhere on here. I don't think I can make it pop up somewhere, so. So I probably have to like orientate it a certain way, I don't know. But I'll close it for now. Because I need to have two streams open. I need to have the one TV. So I'll turn this off. I'll put it to sleep. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna go to Twitch chat for this one. I can actually read what you guys are saying over there. And I'll check YouTube. Because I can't really check OBS that well. So yeah, that's my TV right now. So we'll just have TV to read chat. And we'll look at Twitch chat on the phone. Alright, let's zoom in and let's get to it. Alright. In terms of modes in Splatoon 3, it'll probably be like if I'm thinking of modes, I think there's any real D tier mode. I think this exists. Turf War I'll probably put in like C or B. I'll put it in B for now. I don't think Turf War is that bad of a mode. It's a pretty good beginner mode. It's not the best mode in the game, but it's pretty good for beginners. Overall, it's very good for beginners. For those who want to, see it. So, for people who are first getting into the game, this mode's very good. Just because it is. You get to turf the map. You get to, stream crash. What's going on? You have frame drops? No, they have frame drops. Okay. But yeah, you paint the map. This is a good beginner mode for testing out new weapons and stuff. So I would say it's pretty good in that respect. That you can test out new weapons in this mode. Some major drawbacks to that is turf war. So like the only last 30 seconds of it matter. And it's not too good competitively. It's a good fun for fun mode, and I think they need to have better maps for turf war. Because turf war is the beginner mode that everyone plays. So this needs to be fun, while stuff like tower and all these other maps need to have not maps. All the other modes need to have more streamlined maps like they have now. But this needs to be fun. So I'd say it's in the middle. Okay. X rank's not on here. Yeah, X rank's not here. Alright, so we'll use League isn't in the game yet. So we'll classify this as Anarchy Open. So Anarchy Open as of right now would be probably like here. It's a good, you don't lose too much, but you don't win much either. You still get a lot of cash and normal XP you get for winning and stuff, but it's not the best mode. And since how unbalanced it is, you can easily get competitive teams. I think by how they changed it to where if you're pairing off with a friend or somebody, that you'll be forced to fight another competitive team. I don't think this is the best Anarchy Open's been. When League actually comes out, which this icon is for, I have to use it for Anarchy Open vote because I don't have League here. But if League were to come back, and they had, it's just like it was in Splatoon 2, or just a little bit better, then I think Anarchy Open can move up a tier because it won't be as sweaty as it is now. It'll still be unrewarding, but it won't be as sweaty, so you could probably test out new stuff there. Samrun is a S, in my personal opinion. It's very good. Has all the things that you want in the mode. I personally think it's one of the best ones that they have in the game. See how much content it has. Mostly because you have a bunch of different boss minutes. You have at least 3 or 4 maps. Splatoon 2 you had more maps, but in this game you have more good maps for Samrun. They all work interconnectedly. They work well. You get a lot of rewards for playing it every single day. Not like playing it hours and hours, but if you play like 1 or 2 hours, you should at least get a bunch of gold, some chunks. It's a good way to get stuff done. The main negative of this is some lag. Not because the game is bad, but because of the amount of fish that spawn, especially at like higher levels. The one thing that's bad about it, but other than that, I think it's better than most of the modes in the game. We're not gonna count Outdoor Expansion, although we could. Alright, Hero Mode, I think it's also around Turf War. I think it's a little bit better than Turf War, actually. In this game, Splatoon 3, all the weapons are in the Hero Mode. You can play any weapon you want at any time. You can test out different weapons in there to get better with them. At least to get competent with them before you start trying them out in online matches. So, I'd say it's pretty good. The level design is okay. It's kind of like Octo Expansion, like down here. A little bit worse, but not too much worse. The storyline is good. Not as impactful as Octo Expansion, because Octo Expansion would be here or here. Most likely here. And if it was here, it would be high here. But this is like high B, low A kind of thing. I don't know what that mode is. I think just the basic hero mode for Splatoon 1. I'm not going to use that. Alright, let's get through actual modes, at least for now. Splat Zones is a good straightforward mode, if I'm being honest. It's straightforward. You paint the middle of the zone. You paint the zones in the middle of the map. You have to secure the area around the zone. The objective doesn't move. It's pretty simple. Design-wise, when it's actually playing in game, you do see a lot of spammable specials like missiles, crab tank. You might see some ink vacuum or some bubbler on here. You don't see as much bubbler as you do on tower, but you can still see a sizable amount of bubble on splat zones. I don't think splat zones is like the worst mode, but I think because of how much spam is in the mode, it's a good design mode. But because of the amount of spam, it gets knocked down from up here. Clam Blitz has, I will put an A tier. Clam Blitz is a very good mode. The only main issue with it is, whatchamacallit? The main issue with it is the lack of good, solo queue. But, because in this mode requires high coordination, kind of like Samrun does. You collect clams around the map. You move toward the enemy basket. You get the clams in there. You're trying to keep it open as long as possible. It's a very tactical game mode. Kills matter a lot more. Paint matters more. You're not moving something around the map on a set path. You get sneak in. So I think it's a very good mode overall. And plus, most of the maps for it work pretty well. Unlike zones, most of the maps for zones don't work too well for it, at least in Splatoon 3. But for Clam Blitz, I can make the argument for it to be A or even S if you're thinking about it. I think ranked as a whole, it's like here. Here probably. I'm gonna be like here. Because Rainmaker's here. Because there's no missiles anymore. No, there's no Stingray. There's no Stingray to stop the Rainmaker. checkpoints so it doesn't go as fast as it used to, if I remember correctly. Because you have those checkpoints, it basically saves you a lot of time. It basically means you can't get knocked out within the first 30 seconds. It's going to take them a lot longer now. Balance-wise, I think it has some good balance to it. Overall. Yeah, I think I'll knock down Spy Zones just because of the maps. But Rainmaker has some good maps and some bad maps. Overall, the mode itself isn't bad. The Rainmaker is a good idea. Trying to get it to the other enemy pedestal is also a good idea. It's a good design mode. You can use the Rainmaker to get kills if you need to stall out an area. You kind of need bubble or vacuum or someone pushing up front to actually get this thing to work, but to actually get the Rainmaker to push. But otherwise, it's a pretty good mode. Requires some thinking, not as much coordination as Clan Blitz. None of these modes have as much coordination as Clan Blitz does. At least as much as you need. These two modes you need a lot of coordination for. Rainmaker not so much, but if you're coordinating Rainmaker, you'll probably still do some good things. And we'll rank Tower. Alright, Tower is a fun mode, but the amount of stuff that gets thrown at the tower, like area damage weapons and stuff like that, I personally don't think is the best thing for it. Mainly because how do I say it? Because you have a lot of bubble spam, you have a lot of Wavebreaker, torpedo spam on here. The maps for tower control aren't that good. Even though the mode's fun, the maps aren't that good for it. The idea of moving the tower along a set path is good, and the checkpoints are a good addition, so you can actually stop the tower. But on a lot of modes on the maps, tower's not like the best one that you can play. It's often one of the worst modes you can play on some of the maps. Overall though, you could have used a lot of the map. It does take coordination to do tower, but it's not like coordination like Clan Blitz. You're coordinating around like checkpoint. So during checkpoint is mostly when you're coordinating to get people off the tower. But people are using fizzy bombs, stuff like that. They can keep the tower in place indefinitely, and then you can't push. I think that's more a map and weapon design problem, but overall, I would say it's a C. It's a C, but at its worst, it's a D. So on average, it would be about a D. It's not terrible as this would imply, but because of the current maps and how things are, this is probably one of the worst modes that you can play right now. Especially on stuff like Mahi Mahi Tower or maps like that. It's not very good, if I'm being honest with you. Alright, let's get on to the maps though. Alright, right out of the gate, we already know the good maps. Macamart is going up there. Hagglefish could probably go in B. The flanks don't really work on this stage. I'll probably explain this more. Mahi Mahi is definitely going down here. Ink Block can go up here. It's not that bad. Museum can go up there. Brine Water I don't think is as bad as I thought it would be. Flounder's also pretty good. Probably move Museum up. This stage has some problems, but not a lot. Mincemeat, selfie going here. Undertow, I probably put in C. Eeltail, I'll put in B. But, wait, no, actually. This only has the choke point in the middle. This is a straight line, so I'll actually move this down. Hammerhead is up here. Wahoo, I wouldn't put down here. Wahoo, I'll probably put here. A little bit higher than Eeltail. Sturgeon is definitely an A. And Scorch is a C map. Alright, let me talk about it. Talk about why I'm thinking the stages are in these positions. Alright, the main thing is, hold on. Let me blow my nose. I'm having issues again. I think we should be back. I'm not sure. Can I hear the TV? No. Alright, can you guys hear me now or no? Let me check. If I hear my voice, it should be yes. Alright, I'm hearing my voice. Alright, we're back. Magomart is the top. Say top is a one of the best stages in the game. I think it is the best stage in the game. It has a lot of open space, but there's a lot of cover as well. There's a lot of areas that you can flank around to get somewhere. You don't have to necessarily go through mid to do every single thing. There's some good cover for backliners, good position for them, but there's also a lot of good areas to move just for short range shooters and other things. It's good on Clan Blitz, I would say. It's good for Rainmaker. Zones on it's not bad either. It's very good actually. I guess the main problem with the stage, if there is one, will probably be how long it would take to get back into mid if you were walking there, or on when they're pushing on tower that you might have a weakness trying to defend because it's so far away from your spawn. But other than that, Mako Mart's one of the best stages in the game. Museum also. Museum's a very big stage. Doesn't have as much cover as Mako Mart does, but the spinning pillar in the middle allows you to get to the enemy base pretty easily. You can also climb up the spinners enemy base to get to hard to reach places. You can use those spinners for backliners to just sit on top of and peck at people at the bottom. You have a good amount of low ground underneath the plat. So if you're a roller, a slosher, a blaster, you can shark underneath there. You can do a lot. It's kind of disadvantageous for backliners to be on top of you, but if they're on the pillar, it doesn't really matter. They can't hit you and you can't hit them. So, I guess that's one flaw of it. I guess you could say one flaw of the stage is that it's very big. I think that's one of the biggest flaws of it. Not really a bad stage. There is a flank route. You do have to drop down, but it is still there. Still a flank route. And a lot of stuff is paintable, so you can get pretty much anywhere you want. You do have to go through mid to get anywhere, but my personal opinion, I don't think that's a problem, as mid has enough. It's big enough and has enough cover. Barely enough cover for you to stay alive. So I think these two make sense. Flounder is a very vertical map. It doesn't have too many places for backliners to position though. Like it doesn't have too many spots for them. Everything's a lot of stuff's paintable, so flanks are very common. This is a stage that takes the game's aesthetic pretty well. You can actually paint walls. You can actually move somewhere. You can't just get locked down by E-liter and stuff like that. The main mode that this doesn't do as well on is tower, but that's for the defending team because when on tower, the tower is like here, but then it moves this way, and then it comes down this ramp. So the people on the tower have permanent high ground on top of the people who are defending. So it's the one main issue of the map. Could also be a little bit big, but I don't think that's the problem of it. Has a lot of flank routes, so there's a lot that you could do. Plenty of weapons, work on it. It has an emphasis on verticality, but the verticality is not like it was in Splatoon 1. So I don't say it's as bad. It's as bad to play on if you're trying to go up cliffs, up walls and stuff. So I think it's a very good stage. Inkblot's also a good stage. Mid's good. You have two flanks that you could potentially do. They're not the best flanks, but they're still there. You don't necessarily have to go straight through mid. You can use the flanks, especially on ranked modes, to just cut around to access other areas, to get into people's pits, to shark. It's a good map for that. Main issue is some Stuff like Rainmaker, there's only like one real path to get into the enemy base. And I could also say like the building, like this building here, kind of blocks places for the sniper to like sit. But overall, it's a very good stage. The only thing that will be kind of restricted is movement on this stage. But if they improve movement somehow by getting rid of a wall or two, or like making a ramp, it would probably be very good, if I'm being honest with you. Sturgeon Shipyard has a lot of movement options. It's a lot of places to go up. There's a flank route that does work as an emergency, just in case you need it. A lot of paintable turf. Mid isn't as bad. Like, mid in Splatoon, it's kind of like mid in Splatoon 2. Which, Splatoon 2's mid wasn't bad, but everyone's looking very entirely vulnerable. And just barely any cover. But once you get past, like, the pit area, like, once you get, like, out of mid and you get here, the defenders have the advantage because then you actually have ways to move out. The main problem, it still has the main problem that has Splatoon 2, that the stage isn't bad. The only real issue is that you can't really go anywhere besides mid, because every flank, every single movement option that you have takes you into mid. And once you get into mid, there's only like 2 ways out. There's 3 ways in, but there's only 2 ways out that are permanent. And everyone's looking at you, so mid is not the best, but the overall stage is very good to play on. You can play this on pretty much any mode, if I'm being honest with you. Haggle's a very open map. It has the problem where there's basically little to no cover, so Crab Tank and E-Leader have basically have heavy dominance over mid, which is a problem because that means that shorter range shooters can't really move through without missiles or vacuum or bubble or anything that can just protect or just be HP to just block the enemy team so they can actually push forward. I wouldn't say it's bad. Mid is very good. The map is designed well. On the left and right side of them, those flanks don't really work. They're kind of slow, and it is a little bit of a straight line. So if the slosh machine does get there, then you're pretty much screwed because they keep throwing fizzy bombs into the tunnel. But that's like the main issue with it. Otherwise, I don't think Hagglefish is too bad. It's like a fork in the road kind of. The stages above it are good to very good, or even great, like Macamar is. The stages below it have the problems that Macamar has, but worse. Or they go all the way down to Mahi, where they have basically all the problems, and not too much good to say about them. Brine Water is basically Reef from Splatoon 2 without the without the real side routes. There is one flank, so it is possible to cut around and make a cut over a natural path. A natural path will kind of look something like you spawn here, but you go down this way. And then you turn around, you go this way. And then you go up their ramp. But along this S, you can hop off here and move this way and move that way. So the flank is useful. Can't really see. They could see you jump off, but if you're in like the bottom area, it's hard to see you unless you check map. If I'm being honest, not the worst stage. It is pretty easy to hit people who are in there on base, but not a bad map, as I thought it would be. But it's not a very good map either. It's kind of okay. Undertow kind of has a different problem. Mid is very claustrophobic. Well, these two maps have the same mid problem. Mid's very claustrophobic, but on Undertow it's a little bit worse. Since you're on low ground and it's on low ground. People with glass above you can shoot you. And basically you could just use fizzy bombs or just regular bombs to just keep stalling the game over and over again. It's not too much cover on this stage. It is, if you play your cards wrong, it is very easy to get spawn trapped on this stage. But Overall, there's still places that you can move to. You are forced to move through mid, but there's a lot of places that you can move to and defend from. Like even on tower, even though it seems like they're on the far right, you can move over. They're on your base and still defend from there. So there's plenty of places to defend on Undertow from. They're just not the best places to defend from. But overall, the stage is playable. It's not the worst stage. It's playable. Wahoo World kind of has the same, has a different issue because I'll actually move Eeltail above it. Yeah, I'll talk about Wahoo World. Wahoo World has the issue with the bridge, that the bridge keeps moving out. It moves back and forth every 30 seconds, and the bottom rotates. So for 30 seconds, every 30 seconds, no, for 30 seconds of a minute, the bridge is completely gone, and you can't get in the mid unless you're using the bottom flank, or you're using the right normal way in, and that's over unpaintable turf unpaintable ground, so you can't really swim in. It's easy for a crab tanker either to just shoot you off of it. On Calamblitz, it's not the best. It's not a very good mode because of the bridge problem. And number one, once you do get in near the clam basket, everyone has high ground over you, so you have a disadvantage getting into mid, and then you have a disadvantage actually attacking. You do have the advantage defending, but if you lose like your bottom plat, or the plat that you drop into first, you can get spawn trap. You can't get spawn trap like you do in Mahi or other maps, but you can get locked out of your bottom area if you're not careful. So I would say that's where the stage is right now. Eeltail is a straight line. I don't think it's too bad. It's not the worst map. Perhaps you either do have a pretty good advantage because of bridge, because this bridge here exists. If this bridge wasn't here, I don't think they would be as strong as they are now. Maybe they might be, I don't know. But they don't have high ground, that's the main point. On this stage, they have high ground because of the bridge. If you have Crab Tank on bridge, you basically stop the enemy team from pushing. Or they can stop you from pushing, either way. There's no real flanks. There are no flanks into mid. Everything is visible. It is a straight line, so that's kind of an issue for it. They added some flank routes to it, or some alternative ways, so you don't have to go through mid directly, like maybe an off bridge or like a tunnel that takes you somewhere else. I think that would be pretty good for the stage and make it go up a little bit higher. Maybe they add some more cover down here, and so Crab Tank either can't just destroy you immediately. I think that'd also be good. Overall, it needs some changes, but it's not the worst stage possible. It's not like Mahi where they need a complete rework. This can use some reworks to make it better. Scorched Gorge, the main thing is that mid's claustrophobic. On the splat zones, this is basically Gobi Arena. No, it's basically Kelp Dome from splat zones. You can't get into enemy base on splat zones at all. You just can't. If you're playing Rainmaker or Tower on this stage, there's this wall here where this little basket on top is. It's basically a giant choke point. And you could just keep the enemy team there forever if you choose to. But once they get past the checkpoint, it's pretty easy for them. Because once they get past the checkpoint, they get high ground, and then whatchamacallit, they not only get high ground, but they get more paint and the ability to see where you're going, and can easily contest your high ground on the right side. Easily contest it if they want to, and they get extra special charge. There is a checkpoint there at the bottom for a tower, but that basically means nothing. If they got there, you pretty much lost the game, if I'm being honest with you. On Calamblitz, it's not bad, because the choke point is where the objective is. So once you get into the choke point, you're trying to keep it, hold it, and that's all you're doing. So I think for Calamblitz, this is good. For Calamblitz, it's probably like here. But for Splat Zone, just here. And for other modes, it's kind of meh. If they made more of the walls paintable, like they did with Flounder, I think this would be a better stage. Because that great bridge that they have is not working. Like, at least if you could paint up a wall and then move somewhere else, I think that would be very good for you. Very good for the stage, and make it more fun to play. And the new Hammerhead Bridge is an extremely open map. This left side basically doesn't even matter. There's no real ways to get into mid that aren't just like funneling in the same place over and over again. You could go in between here, you could go far left and enter that way, but that's still highly visible. You can still get instantly deleted. There's no right peak, there's no right flank that allows you to completely skip the middle section of the map. That doesn't exist. You have to go through mid, which is extremely open. So, in a lot of stages, a lot of modes, this isn't a good map. It's not the worst map, but it's pretty bad. And it's basically like you have the straight line of Walleye and Port Mackerel, but you have none of the cover. So at least on Walleye, you had a cover and you had like a spawn barrier to stop you from getting spawn trapped. On here, you don't have that, and you have less cover. It's more open, and there's no real way for you to actually get out. So at least on Walleye, there were two, not that useful flanks, but at least they were still there. You could place a beacon in like the left side, and you could jump to that and then get back in the mid. You can't do that on this map because everything's highly visible. You can't do it. Because on Walleye, it would have been hard to get rid of that beacon unless you were spawn trapping people. Then you can get rid of it. Or you can use a bomb on it, but then that has to be super precise. But overall, not the worst stage, but it's pretty bad. In comparison to the other ones, this is not that playable compared to these. Mincemeat has a problem where the most important part of the map is a giant choke point. E-Leaders are strong here, Crab Tank is strong here, Fizzy Bomb is strong here. Anything that could displace people is very strong here. Rainmaker, you are going underneath the choke point, but you're pretty much always going right side. You don't really want to go left. So you go left, you walk over grates. It's not going to take too much to stop you. You just have to throw a bomb and shoot at you, and you pretty much can't do anything. So you have to go right. If you go right, you have the disadvantage of not being on high ground. But someone could also go before and use right as a flank. It's a highly visible flank, but they could still do it. The trucks in the middle, very claustrophobic. You can't do too much. You can't move around. There's little pits on the sides where you climb up a wall. Like, yes, they're there, but you can't really drop down from them. If you drop down, you basically die on this map. On Clambush, there's not enough good ways to get in here. Because on Clambush, you have the block on the left that you paint and then jump across. And if someone paints or is shooting at you, that's not going to work. And then the other option is that you cross grates, which is also not good. And it doesn't matter, because even if you knock them out, you're not going to have enough time to get to their clan basket, because you have to do the exact same thing that they were trying to do. Because you have to go through mid, and you have to get back to where they were. You have to go across grates. By the time you get there, they're already respawning, and they're down there, and they're killing you. You can't do it, unfortunately. It's a hard nerf. You can't do it. You need to knock them out twice just to do anything. Now, actually, holding isn't that bad because you kind of have an advantage, but actually getting to the clan basket on here in Clan Blitz is very difficult. And then, of course, Mahi Mahi is the worst stage because Mahi Mahi basically has no cover. It's not too many places you can move around in. Kind of sucks to play on. Clan Blitz is one of the better modes on it, but even then, it's not that fun. Rainmaker, you can get stalled out. Tower is by far the worst mode because there's basically nowhere to stand. It's very steamrolly. The tower moves extremely fast. It moves like Sonic. You can't do too much. It's like it's moving like Sonic. It's moving like Sonic, and you can't really stop it. You can use a lot of displacement, but once they get into your area, it's basically like, okay, the water is now gone. There's more places for them to stand. They're not very good places, but there's more places for them to stand. And now you're losing because you don't have high ground over the tower. So that's another issue that you have with the stage overall. And just in general, it's not enough space, it's not enough flank routes. It's very easy to spawn camp on the Mahi Mahi. With pretty much any weapon, it's pretty easy to spawn camp. It's not too hard to do it. It was a problem in the Splatfest world premiere, and it's a problem now. They still haven't updated the stage to fix it. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think they will. But if they rework it somehow, it needs some major reworks. I don't think they'll bring it back to Splatoon 1 Mahi Mahi, but they have to rework the stage to make it more fun. That's weapons. So we'll do specials and subs first. I'm sorry for my nose being nasally. I am kind of sick. Yesterday I wasn't, but felt something in the back of my mouth. So I'm having some issues right now. So I'm not dying or anything, but if I sound somewhat like how I was sounding the week before, like Christmas, then yeah, I kind of sound like that right now. Oh my goodness. Hey, let's start with some let's start. Stamp goes here, missiles goes here, grab tank is above missile, roof slider is here. Mainly because of the lag it takes to get off of it. If it didn't have as much lag and it was a bit cheaper, I could see it being here or here. Because the invincibility is great for it and it can move a lot. But the fact that it's so much end lag is bad for it. Needs an end lag buff. Probably put this here. Missiles because it displaces the enemy team for free. You get a location, you force the enemy team to displace itself. Now, more casual environments isn't as good as they just ignore the missiles. But in competitive play, you can't really ignore it. Even in solo queue and higher levels, you can't really ignore missiles at all. Because missiles is just that strong, if I'm being honest with you. Now, it's no longer spammable. It's still spammable, right? Still spammable. This would probably be lower, but that's how it is. Grab tank, you have bomb mode. You can hit people upper walls. And insane DPS, you destroy bubbler pretty fast. You do pretty much everything. You have armor. You do get 2 hit by Splatana, Wiper, and Stamper if they have Object Shredder. But still, you have a lot of buffs that are going for you. You have a lot of traits that go for you specifically. I'll probably put triple in strike right here. If you could swim with this, it's probably be A or S, depending on how good it is. But because you can't swim with it, it's probably a B or C. Inkjet goes here. Main issue when I was playing with this is Inkjet. It has inconsistent damage. If you get the direct hit, it's always a kill. Unless they squid roll or something. But the indirect hit, the close indirect hit, it's 50. And the far indirect hit, which seems to always be the one that actually works, because the near indirect never works, is a 30. So you really need accuracy with it. Get shot out of it pretty easily. Now, with high skill level, this can do very well, but this weapon, this special needs some more speed or some more defense buffs of some kind, if I'm being honest with you. Needs something to help it. Zipcaster. I put Zipcaster in B. Zipcaster can get a weapon pretty much anywhere it needs to be. the the gradual ink depletion from it is not the best, but it does allow you to get rid of those annoying crab tanks and eliers or any other annoying weapon that's just standing in the same area. It's on Octobrush, it's on Luna Blaster, it's on Slosher Deco, which needs a little bit of a buff to its sub and a little bit of buff to Zipcaster. Not too much, but a little bit more buffs to Zipcaster wouldn't be a bad idea. And it is on Splatana Stamper, so if you see Prochara using it to just fly around the map and delete people, use the gliding part to just damage people as you fly through them. It's pretty good. It's very good for high skilled people. But Zipcaster is only as good as the person who's using it. The person who doesn't know how to play the game as well, this is probably like down here. But if you know how to play it, it's probably around up here. Oh yeah, Stamp. Stamp I don't think is that bad. It needs more protection. It needs to be a little bit less buggy on its hitbox. The damage is perfectly fine, but the hitbox isn't the best for it. It needs a little bit of a better, bigger hitbox. It needs more protection. And it needs a little bit more speed when doing its attacks. Its swing attack, its throw. It's a little bit too slow. But overall, I don't think it needs too many buffs. It just needs speed buffs and some hitbox buffs. And I think it will definitely be up here somewhere in the future if they give it enough speed or momentum buffs. I could definitely see it being up here. But for now, it's here. Vacuum I'll put here. Vacuum is very good at displacing. Not very good at displacing, but Vacuum is very good at sucking up enemy ink and keeping your team alive. It's very good at Rainmaker because you can use it to suck the Rainmaker shots and to protect your Rainmaker carrier so that you can push further. The only real people that can break through a Vacuum will be like a Splatana or a Roller because they can one-shot through it. More so the Splatana because Splatana actually moves every time it does the one-shot thing. Inkstorm, pretty self-explanatory. It rains. You throw it at a specific area and it rains. It moves in that direction. It rains over an area. It does damage and it paints a little bit. It doesn't paint a lot, but it paints just enough to force people to move back a little bit or to move away from it. Wavebreaker's probably there. Wavebreaker has is on a lot of weapons that can spam it. It forces a lot of weapon classes to basically be nullified. It nullifies dualies, forces blasters to jump. It basically makes sharking impossible because you have to jump over every time. And if you know anything about Splatoon, when you jump out of your own ink, it leaves a mark there. So people will know that you're there if they're paying attention. And since it's on like stuff like C Junior, Custom Splash Up Junior, if you don't know the abbreviation, it's very spammable. If you use Special Power Up, the radius of this thing increases a lot. So it's a very good special. It deals with Crab Tank pretty easily. The Crab Tank has to jump over it. Anything that's slow and can't move that well, this does pretty well against. Anything that requires to stay on the ground gets pretty hampered by Wavebreaker. It is breakable. If you have a Splatana Stamper with Object Shredder, you do one-shot this immediately. It doesn't really affect sloshers or shooters that much. But besides displacing them and forcing them to move up, but it doesn't really hurt them as much. Especially sloshers, because sloshers are built to jump. Booyah Bomb will probably be here. Booyah Bomb would probably have been here if they hadn't gotten rid of the ability to mash it. Because now there's a rate limit on it. It takes 2 to 3 seconds to get a Booyah Bomb out at maximum speed. Because before, if you had turbo, you can mash it hard, even without turbo, and you can still get it out in like 1 to 2 seconds. and that shredded crab tank. So if this was before the patch, it'd have been up here because you could spam it. And you go and just throw it. But because the armor, because of the cooldown on it, the speed cap, this allows it to die to the crab tank. Allows it to die to Reef Slider. It allows it to die to back. Doesn't do as well against those things. Splatoon kills this thing pretty easily. Not the best, if I'm being honest. Not the best thing for it, but it gives you a bunch of like 470 HP, so it's still good. But because it can't match anymore, it's no longer S tier. Bubbler A. Only reason it's not higher is because of the amount of things that are trying to shred it. Booyah Bomb shreds it. Crab Tank shreds it. Missile shreds it. Although it takes one missile charge, even with all things targeting it, to get rid of this thing. So, this is actually very good against missiles. It's just not good against Crab Tank, which destroys it. Not good against Booyah Bomb. Not good against Triple Ink Strike either. Ink Vac also kind of counters it, because it does damage, and the return shot also kills it. Killer Whale, to force people to get displaced. If you can lock it onto somebody, it can kill. But this is more used to get people to run away from you, if I'm being honest. Because this forces people to run away from you. Forces people to run. And it does give you sight of where they are. But if you're using this to kill from global range, this is not how you use it. You're using it to aid in fights, so you can force someone to move. I mean, you can capitalize on that kill. Are there more? No, okay, that's all the specials. Tacticooler. Tacticooler makes you marked, so it's kind of like Ink Armor in a way. It makes you marked, so you can't really shark or anything with it. It does give you faster speed in all departments. Run speed, run speed, super jump speed, swim speed. It gives you all of that. Gives you full intensify action. So that's good. Hey, Justina Jackson, what's going on? It gives you all those things pretty well. And it does allow you to instantly respawn if you die with it, and you keep your special. So, the only thing that's really keeping it down is that it's not really a speed meta, because of the amount of weapons that are location, shooting, higher range. The maps change, and the meta changed a little bit. Like Crab Tank's weaker, and there's more shield stuff. Then I think speed's going to be very useful. All right, I think that's all the specials. So I'll talk about the whatchamacallit, the sub weapons now. Line Marker goes down here. Toxic Mist goes down here. Mine can go here. Sprinkler also goes down here. It's not that useful. So when our done ranking everything, can we play Splatoon 3? Yeah, if I have time. I was just playing it earlier, but not many people were here. Point Center can go here. Splash Wall here. Torpedo here. Auto Bomb can go here. So can Curling. That goes there. I would say this is good. It doesn't have the bonus that it has had before, but it'll probably be weaker. Burst Bomb's still good. Fizzy's still good. If I'm being honest. These aren't in the main game. Oh, and Beacons goes up there. Splat Bomb instantly kills. It can displace people very well. If I'm being honest, it can displace people very well. It splits fairly quickly. It is a bit expensive on Ink, but it's the best bomb. There's no real con to having it, unless your weapon's really ink hungry. Burst bomb is also very good because you can move around with it. You can paint walls. It gives you combo potential. You get 60 if you hit it directly. So also a very good bomb. Not as much utility as this. This isn't a displacement bomb. It's more for painting and combos, and trying to detect where people are. Whereas Splat Bomb is force someone out of an area or if they die kind of thing. Fizzy is the displacement bomb of choice. You can get 3 explosions if you charge up very fast. If you shake it. Good with carbon deco burst, yeah. Fizzy displaces people. It keeps them in the back for pretty much forever. If you're talking about a bomb that can keep someone in the same area forever, you use Fizzy. You don't use Splat Bomb because Fizzy forces someone to be in the back. Because if they try to push into you, you shoot them and they die. If they try to move back, they die to this bomb. So the only real option is that they have to move to the right or they move to the left. Those are the main options that they have. Torpedo detects people. If it hits the ground, it does paint a lot. It does kill off slower weapons, even though it's not a one-shot. So it can be very annoying in that respect. For backliners, it's also not good for them because they have to shoot it down and they have to waste a shot on it. Beacons, I always say, are pretty good. You can use them to get anywhere on the map at any time that you need to. Shoot an extra 3 jumps if you need it. It does mark enemy players. I think one downside of it is not the expensive cost, but I think you do get marked. People do know your location if you're next to a beacon. That is also true if an enemy person's next to your beacon. You do know that they do exist. So that's also another good benefit of it. Only issue is that it's not a bomb, so the weapons that you can put this on are mainly like dapples or any weapon that likes camping at an enemy base. Suction bomb does what Splat bomb does. However, you can throw it at a wall and it kills someone if they're standing on top of it. It takes a little bit longer to explode, which is a downside of it. So it does the same amount of damage, which is good. But it doesn't do the 220 that it did in Splatoon 2, so this goes down because it's slower. It does have more utility in where it can be placed, but it's slower and the same damage as a Splat Bomb, so you might as well just use Splat Bomb over it. Splash Wall is mainly for defense. It's very good on shooters or any weapon that likes to force its way forward. You throw out the splash wall, you move behind it, you shoot people who are coming at it. They can't really oppose you when you're near splash wall. One issue is if they throw a bomb at it, like a fizzy or a splat bomb or a suction or a torpedo, even an auto bomb or a curling bomb. If that does hit your wall when you're on the side that it hit, you do instantly die. That is one issue of it. It is visible. It is a visible sign that you do exist. So that's one issue of it. It's very good for defense and just pushing forward. It's not useful on all weapons, but on the weapons that it is on, it's pretty good. It's not the best on rollers, but I guess on rollers is more for supporting your team. Auto bombs do explode. And they do the same damage as the splat bomb, but they move. They follow the person that they're next to. The only issue is that these bombs aren't likely to explode right next to somebody. So the main issue that you have here is they're very good at locating people, so they're good on weapons that like to track people and like rush them down. But they're not actually good at killing people or displacing them. They're not good at moving someone out of an area. They're more like they chase the player down, but then they just move right back in the same spot. Because if you throw a splat bomb, they can't go back into that area at all. But if you throw an auto bomb, they can avoid the auto bomb, wait for it to move somewhere else, move next to it, force it to explode, and then move back. So it has that weakness. Curling is good for getting a weapon in, but it's not good for killing, and it's most certainly not good at displacing anybody. This bomb is not good at displacing. It's only good for moving someone in. So that might actually warrant it moving it down, actually, if I'm being honest. But it's not as bad as these options. Um, Point sensor is good at marking the enemy team and keeping your eye on them. That's the main thing I'll say. But it's not gonna kill them. It does do the thing where it marks them, so they can't really push forward. If they try to push forward, they die because you know where they are. But it would be better in Ink Mine in that respect because it stops aggressive pushing. Because if they're marked, they can't do too much. Ink Mine, though, Ink Mine does 45 damage and it does paint a lot. It is good on zones if you place them on zones, so you can just keep the zone painted. But I don't think it's that good. I don't know. What are your opinions on it? Because I don't think it's that good. Like, yes, it is good at marking people, so you know when people are going through an area, but it's not going to kill them. Even if you have 2 of them, which is the maximum you can have, you're not killing anybody with this. Maybe if it was like you did 60 damage for every time it exploded, then maybe. And it gave an extra effect, like it stops them from moving for like 1 or 2 seconds, like Reef Fighter does. I wouldn't say it's like up here. It does have its uses, but compared to the stuff up here, it doesn't really do that much. In zones, I'll put it like up here, but in every other mode, it's not that good. Clan Blitz would be good because you know where people are if they're sneaking through, but other than that, I don't really know. Splashdown, they reintroduced it. Will probably be like here. If they get rid of the ability to cancel it, probably be here. And then they made it a little bit faster, probably be here. Could destroy this pretty easily, so it'll probably be like here if this was introduced. And I'm a small fry. I don't really know. If it's like the original small fry damage, or it just distracts people, but like it disables a weapon or something like that, it'd probably be very good. Just if it disables stuff. If small fry could disable something, it'd probably be very good. But if it's just a small amount of damage, I don't think it would be that good. So I'll put it here for now. We don't really know. If he was max, you can one shot. Yeah. But Nintendo doesn't like to use the maximum. They usually use the base stats. Angle shooters down here. Sprinkler does paint. It doesn't paint a lot, but it does paint. It's not the best at what it does. After like 15 seconds, it's already like mid paint, and then after 30 seconds, it basically is no paint at all. It is good for stuff like Dynamo, so it can actually move around, but it is expensive. If it's kept like let's say it was at max painting, but then it moved down to medium, and it stayed at medium for the rest of the game, then I think that would be pretty good. I also think one issue of it is that when you die, it also disappears. I don't think that should happen. I think that if you have Sprinkler and you place it somewhere, they have to shoot it down to get rid of it. It shouldn't have to kill you for it to just disappear immediately. They have to actually shoot it down. Toxic Mist is good at well, it does 2 things. It can locate somebody in it, and it slows them down. It does not kill them, but it does slow them down, and it does mark them. So on a tower, if you throw it at the tower, it's not going to kill the person on the tower, but at least you know where they are, so you know what part of the tower to shoot at. And it does slow them down, takes away their ink. So the only way that they can really attack you, sorry, is if they get a special, or they use the main weapon against you. But if they're using the main weapon, then they're running out of ink even faster. If it had some things like some aspects of Disruptor, it'd probably be like up here. But in its current state, it's not the best. And the angle shooter has the most range in the game, but it's 30 damage. Sub defense immediately makes this not combo for Slosher Deco. just one sub of sub defense. No, sub resistance rather, not sub defense, sub resistance. Has a lot of range. It does mark people, and it does have a line that can also mark people, but it's not the best sub. It's not really too much of a reason to use it at the moment, but if they do buff it, they give it some special effects unique to it, they could probably move up here or here, depending on how good they make it. They give it some OP special effects, would probably be up here, be too broken, because how cheap it is, but in its current state, it's not too good. Okay, so that's the specials and subs. So we did the modes. We didn't do no. I did the weapons, but I haven't talked about why I put them there. Talked about maps, and I talked about sub specials. All right, all I have to do is just talk about weapons, and then we could get into some Splatoon 3. These are just samurai weapons. Don't really count these at all. Don't really mind them. But this is how we're gonna rank them. Oh, my stream's behind. My bad. Alright. Splash-O-Matic is top tier because it has Burst Bomb and it has a 100% accurate main weapon. It's a 4-shot kill, and it has Crab Tank, which, as I mentioned earlier, can do pretty much everything. If there's plenty of different type of splash builds that you can use. It's in top tournaments. You can use splash builds to get crab faster, to shred crab faster, to move fast, to get kills, to sneak around. There's a lot of things you can do with this weapon that you can't do with many others. Only main counter to Splash would be Sloshing Machine, but Sloshing Machine is now weaker against Splash because they nerfed Booyah Bomb. Not the damage of Booyah Bomb, but they nerfed how fast you can get it. So, how fast you can get it and how fast you can actually charge it. So because of that, Sloshing Machine is worse than Splash, but not by too much. If Booyah Bomb was still turboable, you can mash it as hard as you want it and get it out super fast. Probably be better or on par with Splash, but at the current moment, not as good as it was, but it's still very good. You have, let me have to get rid of this. You have a main weapon that kills, that can kill, does 38 damage. You have a Fizzy Bomb, which works well with the main weapon and can stall forever. And you have Booyah Bomb to throw out the checkpoint to keep stalling. So this weapon is very good at stalling permanently. It's a very good weapon in that respect. Flingenser kind of does it too, but the thing that allows Flingenser to do it, it's special. Sloshing Machine can do it with everything. I think this will mainly fall off due to speed, but not because it's bad. It's still a very good weapon. It's probably just going to go down over time, but it's still being used because of how slow it is. But that's about it. But Flingenser Roller still has good paint. If I may, it still has good paint. It has Ink Mine, which it can use to protect itself. It has Missile, Penta Missiles. It can't spam it like it did before, but it can still use it. And, what else? It's mainly like a backline kind of roller. Like, this can backline too, but not as well. And it has the ability to actually kill, unlike Big Squid. But Big Squid had the ability to kill, probably be a lot higher. Custom Junior. Custom Junior is probably like, it's still top, but it has, what does it have? It has Torpedo. It has, so it can annoy people. It has Wave Breaker, which forces people to jump, and it gets it for cheap. And as the main weapon, the Splatter Shot Junior, which although it can get kills, it's mainly used for paint. It has great paint, a good bomb, and a good special, just like its default kit does. So I think these will always stay in the meta. If I'm being honest, these will always be somewhere up here. So Siege Junior is very annoying. It can do a lot of stuff in displacement and just making sure that the entire enemy team is marked. It's the main benefit of it. You have Torpedo, which forces snipers to shoot that down instead of you. So I think overall pretty good. Tetradualies have the speed. They have the 4 dodge rolls. They have the range to outrange most shooters. And they have pretty good strafe speed. When they're rolling, they shoot as they roll. So they're very good at kiting. They're very aggressive. That's why they use quick respawns so they can get back in the battle faster. And overall, it's just a very good weapon. It has auto bombs so it can track people down and rush them. And it has reflatter just in case things get a little bit too rough. Yeah, I think that works perfectly for it. What else? Well, I think that's it for that weapon. Let me blow my nose again. Be right back. It should only take like 30 seconds, I think. What else? Just give me an extra like 10, 20 seconds. I should be able to talk about most of the weapons. Maybe I should get this Splatoon. Because I think at least my tier is pretty accurate. I made this tier list because I didn't think the Squid one was mostly accurate, but some things weren't as good as I thought they would be. Only reason Nova's down is because of how bad the main weapon is. Anyway. Alright. So, bro, I'm the only one here. Yeah, I know. But I'm still gonna keep talking because I think there's still a very good tier list to talk about. Because I like doing I haven't done this before, but I wanna keep doing it. Because tomorrow I'm also thinking of making a stream where people send in their weapon kits that they want in the game, and then I'll talk about them. So I don't really see because Prochar hasn't done his yet, so I'll do mine. But I want to go over what everyone's thinking about it. Okay, regular splatter shot. This has suction bomb, Trizuka, I believe. I think it does. If I remember correctly, yeah, it does. So this has good paint, a weapon that can kill, has decent accuracy. It has a bomb that can throw, that can hit people from walls. It can do some cheesy things with the wall. So that's displacement. And it has Trizuka, so it can swim with it, and it can pop up and delete the weapon, delete a weapon like E-Leader, or it can delete Splash on this Crab Tank, or it can delete Tri-Stringer, or it can delete a Splatling, like Hydra. It can do that. It can do that pretty easily. Excuse me, my bad. So, Splash Shot, regular Splash Shot, it's pretty good. You don't see as many of these, but it's still good. I think you see more of its brother now. More of the Tech kit. But overall, this is still very good. 52 Gal still has the busted stats it had in Splatoon 2, but and it has a splash wall, so it has the kill power. It has the ability to force its way through. The only issue is that the special isn't the best thing for it. It does allow it to track things, but it doesn't allow it to stay alive, which the 52 Gal likes to do. If this had Booyah Bomb, like Slosh Machine does, I think it would still be very good, like it was in Splatoon 2. It'll still be top tier. It is top tier now, but you don't see as many of these. Killer World's not the thing that this thing wants. In that 52 Gal wants, but it still has the paint, it still has the kill power that it had before. So this isn't going anywhere. The dually sculptures have the 2 dodge rolls, the slide roll, the dodge roll into jump into perfect accuracy fire thing. So they have long range, they can kite, and they can pretty much kill. But the main issue is that they have poor ink efficiency, I believe. So their rolls consume a lot of ink, and them firing, the ink tank goes down pretty fast overall, being honest with you. So that's the main thing keeping it from going higher. It has a high skill ceiling, but I think the ink it needs more ink for itself. You might find yourself running more ink saver main than you might want. Alright, Squeezer. Squeezer has Splash Wall and it has Trizuka. It has 2 firing modes. It has the long range firing mode, which is tap shotting. That can give you carpal tunnel if you're not careful. And if you hold down ZR instead, you get the painting mode, which as I said before, it paints. It does have worse ink efficiency than the firing mode, the shooting, the mode that actually gets you kills, and it has less kill power. Squeezer in painting mode does 30 damage while in shooting, the long range firing mode, it does 40 damage. So long range, you get a fast 3 shot if you're spamming fast enough, but if you're using painting mode, you get a short range 4 shot, which does have the best accuracy, and it's basically a worse splash. You have the splash wall to push up, like K52 does. You do have longer range than the K52 has, so you can push out enemies from longer away. And just like Trizuka, as I mentioned with the splatter shot, you can pop up, delete somebody, and move on. Pop up, delete, move on. Pop up, delete, move on. You can swim pretty much anywhere you need to. It's a good weapon. See a lot more in Japan than you do in North America and Europe, but still a very good weapon. If I'm being honest with you, still very good. E-Leader, this one has. This is the non-scope version, I believe. This one has Ink Mine and it has Wave Breaker. Wave Breaker is much better on a weapon that can actually move up, but it has Wave Breaker so it can detect people if it needs to. The main thing that this weapon has is the insane range. So it has the longest range of any weapon in the game. Be right back after you use the bathroom. Alright. The weapon basically has the longest range in the game. It can melt pretty much anybody from the back. It can basically stand, like on Hagglefish specifically, it can stand on top of a tent and delete a crab tank on the other side of mid. On a lot of maps, it's very oppressive. Not as much on like Flounder, because Flounder has a lot of vertical height, a lot of flanks, so using a backline on Flounder isn't optimal. But either is still very good. It's pushed down because Crab's kind of taking its place, and this weapon exists because the amount of torpedoes that is spamming. So this weapon's no longer like SS tier. It's no longer like up here, but it's definitely still good. Alright, now I'm going to talk about A ranks. These are the great weapons. They're not top tier, but they're great. They're top tier to great. Ink Rush has Splat Bomb, so it can displace people. It has the super fast rolling mode. It has 100% resistance to enemy ink, unlike Octobrush, which doesn't have that. And Killer Whirl 5.1 is actually good for it because it can track somebody down, so you can know where they are. Track them down, eat them up. Or you can use it to blind them and then make an escape route. That's also something that you can do with it. So, very good weapon. A very good weapon overall. You're back, nice. Very good weapon overall. Say could have a slightly better special, but I think it's very good. Carbon Roller has Burst Bomb, which is always good for it. And it has Trizuka, so as I mentioned before, Burst Bomb basically allows it to move around a lot. It allows it to get its combo. And it can allow it to pay for a special pretty easier. And Trizuka allows it to, as I said before, with other Trizuka weapons, swim around, pop up, delete somebody. And because Carbon doesn't have long range naturally, this gives a long range option to delete stuff that is a problem for it. Kumlala, Kumala, Savista. Or is that Savesta? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Exploster, you have Point Sensor, which allows you to hit someone from the other side of the wall. It does the thing that Nova does, Point Sensor. The enemy is not going to attack you. But at least Point Sensor on Exploster allows you to hit people over walls, which is very good for the weapon. And it's very useful too. So I would say definitely A tier. You do also have like Ink Storm, so you can throw that out and displace people and help paint zone. It does, if you hit an Exploster shot and someone's in Ink Storm, it does fasten and increase your kill time. So that is good. So if you hit them once with the I believe the direct, then the Ink Storm should be able to finish them off if they stay in there a little bit, stay in there for like 2 seconds. If you hit the splash, it basically gives Ink Storm less health that it has to burn through to kill somebody. So I would say good kit, very good Explo. The best one that we have so far. And its paint's very good. It can cheese zones very easily. Splattershot Jr., the original one. And this one is a classic Splat Bomb, and it has Bubbler. So it can use Bubbler to help his team get to newer places. It can use Bubbler to defend his team. It can use Bubbler to just be an annoyance. It has Splat Bomb to keep displacing people from areas they don't want, and it can paint for it pretty easily. So, as the things that C Junior has in terms of paint, the better ink tank, it just has Splat Bomb, which is a bomb that kills, and Bubbler, which is more as a port, versus Wavebreaker, which is more aggressive. Range Blaster, main issue, slow fire rate, lack of paint, but good range. Good one-shot capabilities. Good kit for it, as Wavebreaker can displace people. With Intensify, it's very good. Probably might lower it down just because of the lack of paint it has. It might put Normal Blaster above it, but I still think it's very good. Eliar Scoped. Basically, same kit as Eliar. I don't really need to go over that. The main difference, you can't charge hold, so it's automatically weaker than the original. Because you can't do that, you have less movement options. You do get a scope, so you do get more precise aiming, but you lose movement options for it. So therefore, the the scoped either is worse than the regular either. Okay. So next weapon is Tensec Splatter Shot, which has Splat Bomb, very good for it, and Triple Ink Strike. Triple Ink Strike is spammable and it does paint a lot. As a very good damage per second, it does destroy Booyah Bomb and Crab Tank pretty easily if you get it right. Main problem with it is that you can't swim with it. If you could swim with it, it will probably be a lot better than it is now. But because you can't swim with it, it's an A tier or at worst B tier. If you're really thinking about it like that, depending on how much you weigh Triple Ink Strike against it. But you do get a special that paints. It's good for zones, good pretty much anywhere. If Triple Ink Strike gets a buff, you'll see a lot. You'll see even more of it than you do now, and it's pretty common now. Stamper. Stamper, you get burst bomb, so you can combo with your main weapon, your vertical slash. You hit the vertical slash, or you hit in the horizontal, instant delete. If you hit the burst bomb, if the vertical slash and burst bomb, almost instant delete. You have Zipcaster, which allows you to fly around the map and get to new places. Allows you to destroy crab tanks, all this stuff pretty easily. You do have high object damage. That is something to note about Splatoonus and the Stringers. You have very high object damage. If you're using Stamper with Object Shredder, you can 2-hit Booyah Bomb and Crab Tank armor. You can get rid of them very quickly if you use the direct vertical slash. So overall, very good weapon. Is held back a little bit by its paint, and its slowness, and its inability to deal with stuff that's very close range. But I'll say it's still very good. Heavy Splatling has Sprinkler, which isn't good for it, but it has Wavebreaker, which is good for it. So it is still an A tier weapon. If it had a better sub, it'd probably be good, even better than it is now. Sprinkler does allow it to paint for special, which is good. The weapon is able to delete people, not like Nihilist's delete speed or Hydra, but still delete people. It can hold down an area pretty well. It has decent range. It does lose the chargers, but it has decent range. That's enough. So I'd probably say it's still good. I would definitely still recommend using it. Slosher. Slosher, basically, this weapon is one of the main weapons I play. You have Splat Bomb, which is good for you. If you get the indirect with Splat Bomb, then you hit the Slosher. Slosh, you do kill somebody. As I said before, Splat Bomb is very good at displacing people and keeping them out of the area. And you also have Triple Ink Strike. Now, you are slow with it, which is the main reason why it's not as high as it would be. You could even argue if it's to get moved down. But still a good weapon. Good bomb. Special just needs a little bit of a buff, and I think it will be even higher than it is now. Slosher. You have Toxic Mist, so you can slow down people in your range of and catch up to them and delete them. Be better if you had Burst Bomb, but you still have something that can slow down an enemy. And you have Inkjet, so you can use Inkjet. You can pop up from underneath a ledge and instantly delete somebody. Inkjet does have a skill curve, and it does have lower health, but and it's hard to use. But if you know how to use it, it's not that bad. If I'm being honest with you, Inkjet's not bad at all. Especially for a short range weapon like this. It gives you a longer range option. I still think Triceratops is good. If it gets a better kit, it'd probably be up worse loss between splashes right now. Regular blaster, you get auto bomb, which allows you to detect where somebody is, and then you use the blaster to shoot at them. Use the indirect explosion radius to find them, keep hitting them, and when they die, and you have bubbler to keep to hold down an area even longer. So overall, I think that's a very good kit for it. It's often used on tower, and I wouldn't blame you. You get bubbler, and you get an area damage weapon, which are always good on tower. So I'd say it's very good. What's next? I have to dust down this room. This is the splatter shot. No, it's the splat charger. Yeah, it's splat charger. Splat charger allows you to allows you to instantly kill someone. It has less range than E-liter does, but you do have splat bomb, and you do have vacuum. Vacuum's a little bit off place on this because you have to move up, and you don't really want to move up as a charger too much. But it is available, so you can support your teammates if you need to. So overall, good. Vacuum holds it back a little bit, and its lack of range over E-liter also holds it back, but not bad. It doesn't do 180, it does 160 damage. So it's not as good at shredding objects as E-liter is, but you do fire the weapon a bit faster. Splatana. Wiper. So faster, the original Splatana. Get really good paint. You get really good paint. Get really good object damage. You get torpedo, which is annoying. You have to your enemy has to shoot it down, and you have stamp. Stamp isn't the best because of protection issues, but in the future, I think they can make it better. You just have to give it a little bit more speed on its actions. I think it'd be good. But Stamp works good on Splatana. It allows it to delete stuff over ledges. The vertical swipe also allows it to do combat from under ledge pretty easily. So overall, I say it's still very good. It's worse than Stamper because of the kit, but it has more paint than Stamper does, and it moves faster than Stamper. Alright, Splat Charger with Scope. Basically the same thing as Splat Charger with just with the Scope, so you can't do the charge hold. You just can't do it. Well, that's your only weakness. You get more precise aim, but that's your only weakness. And I forgot to mention that the Scope increases your range just a little bit. Tri-Stringer. You get Toxic Mist, which isn't the best, but it does slow down your enemy. So you can use Toxic Mist and use the chip damage from your arrows to keep someone in place. And you can also use the Tri-Stringer with Object Shredder to delete Crab Tank in two shots. Not 2 fully charged shots, but 2 partial charged shots, and you instantly delete Crab. And by fully charged, I mean the second ring of fully charged. Second ring of charge. If you get the first full ring of charge, you can still delete Crab Tank. And you get Whale with this. Whale detects people, which is good for Tri-Stringer because it allows you to see where your enemy is going, so you can shoot that area, instantly delete them, or block them off with chip damage, which is always good in Splatoon 3. If I'm being honest with you. Splat Dualies. You get Crab Tank and you get Suction Bomb. You have the mobility of Dualies. You get 2 dodge rolls. You get the focus fire mode of it. You get all the benefits of Crab Tank. You do not get it as fast as Splash does, but you are a more mobile weapon than Splash in terms of dodging and stuff you can do. So I think when we get into Dewey's meta, you'll probably see a lot of it. So I say good. Does have its weaknesses against Wave Breaker. Those are very notable, but overall not too bad. Rapid Blaster, you get a longer range blaster. It's a 3-hit indirect kill, and it's a 2 direct kill. You get Ink Mine, which is good for detecting people who are trying to approach you, and it's also good for painting zone. And you get triple Ink Strike. So not only can you ping people from far away, you can throw rockets and make them hit from far away as well. Splice them, paint, force a Booyah Bomb or a Grab Tank to go backwards. It's good. It's a good combo. Main issue is that you need to run Intensify Action for this to be very good. It's the main thing that you have to do. Wait a second, says Chromos. It's the main thing that you have to do. I saw you on Squid School's chat. Yes, sir. What's going on, man? So you're using Rapid Blaster to mainly keep the enemy team at bay. It's a good poking weapon. Hydra, it's kind of Blast Cannon like, but I still think it's good. Not much. Okay. Hydra can it has less range than E-Liter. Just find live tests to stay. The Waffle House has found its new host. Who's their new host? So I was saying, Hydra deletes pretty fast. It can delete the entire enemy team if it's in the right position. It has Auto Bomb to detect people, and it has Booyah Bomb just in case it gets rushed down. Main issue with it, it takes a very long time to charge up to maximum power. And if you get displaced at all, like with missiles or anything, you lose all your charge. I'm okay. I'm sicker than what I was yesterday. Yesterday I didn't have any signs of sickness, but today I'm nasally and I'm not doing as well. Okay, Forge Pro. Issues with Forge Pro, you get the paint's not too great. You do get Booyah Bomb, which is pretty good. You do get a usable bomb. You get a 3-shot kill. The cons, bad paint, expensive special. Not gonna get a lot of Booyah Bombs out of this, and your paint's not gonna be the best. Hold on. Alright, my mom called me. That was the issue. Where do we get? We got to Forge Pro. I'll talk about more of these tomorrow in tomorrow's stream, but that's basically half of the tier list that we got here. So I have to talk about mini splatling and what's left. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for the people who are watching. I was supposed to play Splatoon 3 with somebody, but they're not here anymore. I'm the only one watching my stream on Twitch and on YouTube, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.